it is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and it is another Maggie Holmes Monday that I do with Sara scraps. So I am using the round trip collection. So I am scrapbooking this picture of a scrapbook store that we found in Denali, and they didn't have a ton of things, but they did have a couple of these papers. So I just thought I would show you what I actually picked up at the scrapbook store. So that one I think I am totally going to use as kind of the beginning of our trip kind of in the album, because I don't think that I'm doing a separate album. If I am doing a separate album, it'll be like your title page. Otherwise, it'll just kind of be the first page in the section of Alaska for this trip. So I did decide that I really needed to use some of that paper on this layout with the cutest little scrapbook store. And so I cut apart the cut apart and took the postcard, and I'm going to use that as a layer behind my photo. So I did take this picture and sent it to my scrappy friends, and I was like, look at what I found. So it's kind of a quilt and scrapbook store. They really didn't have a lot in there. It was mostly quilting and sewing kind of things, and they had a couple of embroidery pieces that I do kind of wish that I had purchased, but they had a couple of papers, these ones. They had a couple of like old like rubber stamps, and that was pretty much kind of their. They didn't really have any like packages of ephemera or anything. So, but I had to have these papers. And so the funny story with these papers is that I didn't want to put them in my suitcase because I didn't want anything to happen to them. So I put them safely in the back pocket of the SUV that we were driving around for 2 weeks. And we returned our car and I left them in there. And we had got to the airport with plenty of time. So I went back down to the rental car place and I was like, I really need to get back in our rental car and get these papers. So these papers were like part of my carry-on. So I am kind of excited to get a piece of them used, because I did make the How to Kill a Kit with Style for this quarter based on doing this trip's photos, and I totally forgot about them, which is terrible, but the truth. So they have been pulled out. They are totally added to the kit. So I wanted to start with this wood grain background, and just because the cute little store was wood, and then it had some kind of greenish and floral aspects to it. So I pulled those two papers out. And then because it was July when we were there, they had their American flags out. So I'm pulling this blue, which is actually the back side of that floral paper. And I'm just going to do a very simple L-shaped design. Now, with this, I could totally have jumped into all of those crafty collections that we have, but I was really trying to use my kit. This is what I had kind of pulled out for this trip, and I decided I was just going to stick with it. So, plus it's Maggie Holmes Monday, so I just got to use all my Maggie Holmes things. So, other than the postcard, everything is from the Maggie Holmes round trip collection. So, I'm going to get everything glued down. I did tear both sides of, well, I guess one side of each pattern paper. I did flip the star paper on the other side, so then I had a torn side on each side. And I like how that looks better than having the two torn edges going the same direction. So I've got my L-shaped design, I've got my photo and my postcard and sitting on my nice little shelf. So I am going to trim off that top branding strip. And I really like that Maggie Holmes does not do a full branding strip, because then I don't feel bad about throwing it away. I have a little guilt when I cut off branding strips, and so I have a whole branding strip container, which is completely decorative, and I love it, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel bad throwing it away because it's only a little tiny hint of the patterns that are there. So I am going to just do 2 clusters on this, very simple. I added some tickets. So the color of those tickets, that kind of, maybe like it's not a burnt red, rusty. It's kind of rusty, which is the color that is in the store there, like the word fabric and on the sides and the pillars and everything. So I really wanted to pull that color in. So that's why I pulled the tickets, that tag that says fragile, because those papers were fragile and I did not want anything to happen to them. I also grabbed a little pocket and put a tag in there. It does say airlines, but it goes down further, so you don't actually see them, but I am going to tell the story of getting out and having to go through security twice to bring these papers home. So there is some airplane aspect to this layout because I do want to tell that story. I don't have any other pictures of it, and I think it just kind of goes well. So that's what that is, and I think even if the airline sticks out, it totally works. So I grabbed a suitcase because I didn't want to put it in the suitcase, so I'm going to put that there. And then I had this piece that said my favorite place, and I just thought that was so funny because my favorite place is a scrapbook store, even on vacation. So there is my final layout. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a very simple layout. It came together super nicely, but I am super excited to tell the story. And don't worry, I will get some twine in those tags. They will not be naked. So check out Sara, what she's doing with her Maggie Holmes Monday, and remember to wear your crown, and we'll see you next time. Bye.